Amy.
Tough year for the Tigers so far, but Trent Cotchin, their captain, he's had some big matches, got 38 in the first week. Here's what he said pre-match.
Yeah, look, probably just get around the contest as much as I can. We've got young Milesy, who's been fantastic in the clearance work, but wouldn't mind getting my hands on the footy a little bit and set up a couple of the outside runners.
Well, that's what he certainly did, Wayne. He backed it up.
Well, exactly. The Richmond captain, he said it there, Richo. Well, you can talk the talk, but you have to walk the walk. And 14 possessions, I mean, that's exactly what he wanted to do. He's got the side off to a flyer. But from ground level, Richo, what have you seen? I mean, they were very good for 3 quarters last week. This is Richmond of old.
Yeah, it was Richmond of last year where they like to control the tempo of the game, control possession and deny, I guess, Sydney the football. And that's what they've been able to do through uncontested marks, uncontested possession. The problem with Richmond is they haven't been able to do it for 4 quarters once this year. That's the big challenge tonight. What about the Rance Franklin duel, Doug?
Yeah, there hasn't been too many one-on-ones, but I think Rance has been terrific, whether it be on Lance or reading the play himself. I mean, just the pressure that he's put on, he's playing a really good game.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Richo, for that. You know, Rance, absolutely. And just the positioning as we look at Cotchin there. The positioning of Franklin will be interesting at the start of this quarter, Tom. And Lee, Wayne's about to come back up. He started deep forward at the start of the match, didn't he, Lee and Tom? Yeah,
we did. And I just thought Rance sort of had him one-on-one. So I said, even after 5 or 10 minutes, thought maybe you get that pairing upfield a bit, get Reid deep, get Goods deep, because one-on-one, Rance is quite comfortable. Franklin, one of the few players who is.
Goods is the interesting one for me. As John Longmire said before the game, we'll spend some time through the middle, and they are throwing some different things. The Swans through the middle. I'd like to see Goodsy spend a bit more time in the front half.
Tigers lead it by 18 points. Former Tiger Tom Derricks, Van Marriage. It's the latter who wins the tap. Cotchin, do we count that? Don't think we do. Still inside the circles. It's a bit like Sumo. Cotchin taken high. So he starts the second term as he finished the first. Sends it down towards half forward. Not his best effort. Malcheski goes back. Good contest from Miles. Knocked it down. Conker in trouble. Swung a boot at it. Rampy dived after it. In the midst of that initially was Martin. That's Miles. Got a grimace when you try. We'll have a ball up. Interesting, the imbalance in possession in the first term, 58 to 115, the Tigers' way.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? Cotchin leading the way. Goods' little give. Malcheski. Shaw. Not much room for Jack. Kennedy likes it in close. Bird just dropped it down. Pettit or Deledio. No, Pettit it was. Nearly got it out. Kennedy close. Pettit squeezing it out. And it's a behind. So Sydney slow here. And Richmond with all the numbers at the moment in their favour. It's a brave guy, Pettit. He had that terrible injury for Melbourne. That one cut off by Deledio and runs it out, but another little victory for the Tigers. So Sydney without their mojo right now, early in the second term. They've been playing catch-up footy, Sydney, most of the year. They only won 1 of their first 4, but they've strung together a fantastic run over the last couple of months. Quick kick from Cotchin. Goods. Did it well. Played it really well, and then Shaw had to get that angle in the end, and it's very dangerous. Hooley's got a good leg. Not a great kick. Contest, though. Edwards at the back. That's Shane Edwards. Well done, Miles again. Conker. Cotchin. They're still knocking them up. Martin. Morris. Good mark.
Right there. Play on.
Gives it to D. Oh, that's holding the ball.
Kind of like Anthony Miles, though. 49 possessions in his previous 2 games, 30 last week. He's on fire again tonight. Pike, they found somebody.
Right there, that's Mark.
Pike is about 75 metres out. Kieran Jack is short. Malcheski. It's not a bad kick. It will pitch in short. Parker couldn't control it. D stood his ground, taken high, gets a free kick. Well, they're terrific so far, the Tigers. D short. There's Martin. He was industrious in the first term too. 9 possessions. Overshadowed by his captain, but even so, very good. Marriage. Short of half back. Van squares it. Ellis takes it.
Bit of poise about the Tigers.
Need to be bold still, Bruce. They've sitting on a nice little lead early in the game, but need to actually understand what it was they did in the first quarter that gave them that advantage and reinforce that.
Well, Marriage, not a good kick, was it? I mean, Goods able to cut it off. And then Goods just pops it over to Jetta. It's had a pretty good year, Jetta. Not quite the 45 goals of 2 years ago, and that one, Martin cutting off and a boundary throw in. Here's John Longmire quarter time, not happy.
This is the fine balance between not creating panic, but trying to wake your players up, get a little bit of energy, get a little bit of adrenaline in them, because really they haven't produced that early.
It seems like that's sort of effort-based as opposed to structures, isn't it?
Only a whisper from the horse that time. Over the shoulder, Martin. Conker ran into a dead end. Kennedy standing up, tackled by Miles. Hooley goes to ground, tries to fling it out of there. Oh, down goes Jack, or is it Parker? It's Jack. He hit the ground hard. McVeigh. Well, this is trench warfare at the moment. Derek. And now Conker. And the umpire eventually will ball it up, and there's a bit of cut ball.
Yeah, Jetta, the main one, I think, at the moment. God. Stuff we just didn't see a few years ago, isn't it? That is rolling maul type stuff. Goods getting it from Franklin to Kennedy. Thinking of that coffee, Dennis. And then Laidler's kick to the pocket. Pike and Chaplin. Good mark.
Wait there, Mike. Wait there. Play on. Play on. Play on.
Ellis.
Yours.
Good kick. Rance couldn't take it though. And McVeigh played the percentages, and Grimes runs it out.
One thing I think it's the first time that Derricks and Pike and Reid have all been in the team at the same time, because you do have this element of whether the three of them will be able to have enough quickness to be all playing at the same time.
Jetta paying the price there in that pack. As again, though, oblivious to all of that. Shane Edwards, haven't called his name too often. Vlostone. That's with Foley. He started well too. Vlostone runs on. In his space, Ellis. He's a long kick, Ellis. Goes across the ground. Oh, well, no, he didn't. He went down towards the pocket in the end. Revolt gathers the ball. Centres it now. Dangerous kick. Hampson up. Couldn't hang on. Lloyd behind crumbs it. And now Rampy. Rampy drives it towards the outer side. It will pitch in no man's land. Cunningham got the good bounce. He was under pressure. Would have got a free kick. Goods is away. Runs the outer side, a couple of bounces. Trying to go with him is Grimes. Still Goods. Waving instructions. Sends it long. Reid is going back. Chaplin over the top. But he knocks it out of bounds.
She turned the clock back. Goodsy running down the wing. It reminded me of the mid-2000s and those grand final times.
Must be something about the MCG at the moment on this wing, the member side wing. It was Pav last week, the 300-game legend, going for a trot down the wing. He kicked the goal.
Pike, good tap. Cut off, though. Well done. I think it was Pettit and Cochin combining. Jack was the one that was swooping on it. And that ball. Yeah, Lee, you make a good point about the height of Sydney tonight. So Jetta coming off.
Clearly, height's good if you mark it, but if you don't mark it, becomes a ground level game, and then, of course, the speed becomes the negative. So, yes, I think that was always a question about Sydney, and as on tonight's brief evidence, the question would be even larger, I would have thought.
You'd reckon one of the ruckmen would be the sub tonight for a runner in Zach Jones.
Yeah, as night goes on, for sure.
So Ellis, is that out in the fall? I think it is. So it's a wayward kick, and Jack's in a good spot for a left footer here, as Jetta's been patched up here. And Jack comes back inboard and finds another left footer.
It's not 15 metres.
About 10 metres, I reckon. You'd always look at the goal square, 1.5 goal squares. That looked very short.
Always interesting when Franklin lines up from here, isn't it? Forget about the distance. Yes, never a problem now with him. 68-metre goal last week, as he's done in the past. But can he get it on line? They need a goal here, and he does too, I think. Good kick. That's a great kick. So Buddy gets his first, and Sydney closed the gap a little.
We see Frank, it's not the textbook kicking action in the terms. He always runs out to his left and kicks slightly across his body, but kept it on line beautifully.
That used to be his poor side, didn't it, on that side?
Yeah.
Because he used to get right to left rather than left to right.
Jack was taken down. Getting the spillage. Cochin. Another possession down towards half forward. Well, could have been some hanging on there for Smith. Nothing doing. Ellis kicks inside the forward 50. Grundy did well. Came at the football hard. Revolt stood his ground though. Flicks it out. Cochin goes again. Socket off the ground by Jack. Taken by Shane Edwards. Nicely worked. Marriage gets it to Ellis. Kicks to a dangerous spot. But Pike gets back. And now 50 against Jack.
Sorry, you're right. That was touched off the boot. It was touched off the boot. Touched off the boot. It's a ball up. Yeah, I called touch play on. So it's no mark. I called touch play on.
Quick thinking by Jack. I didn't hear the call.
So you don't hear that very often. I mean,
no.
I'm sure the umpire said, no, yeah, you're right. And he's changed his mind. We'll have another look.
Hampson knocks it down. Melcheski, Grundy, McVeigh. Hard against the boundary line, McVeigh. Kicks outside the defensive 50. Cunningham worked in front. D lurking behind. Sits for him nicely. Cochin again. Took a while. Bearing down was Jetta. Now running to the 50 is Conker. Oh, that's a terrible effort. Bounces out of bounds. Or was it on the full? Just cleared the line. So it'll be a free kick to the Swans. Melcheski will take it in the last line.
No, it was good umpiring, wasn't it? And by both Jack and the umpire. So, Chesky. Reed, good mark. He can do that, can't he? He's got a good pair of hands around the ground. He's a work in progress. Not a good kick. Cut off.
Come out. Play on.
Boston. Martin had a big first quarter. Gone. No, he shrugged off young Jack. And it's a trip against the Swans.
He's the only player on the ground that would have shrugged that. Then just the strength in the body. Martin, anyone else would have been gone there.
Yep. Dangerous kick. Could be a turnover here. Kennedy's hands were brilliant.
Cunningham, 60 metres out, goes short. Terrific stuff by Rance. Wonderful closing speed. Knocked it away from Franklin. Morris over the top. Trying to go through is Conker. They were waiting for him. Still got the footy. Not attempting to get it out. Doesn't matter. It's nicked away from him by Foley, who immediately is tackled by Kennedy. And will have a ball up. It's uncompromising stuff, Lee.
You see it a lot. Young Cunningham, I think he was very Franklin conscious. Yeah. I think he just should have gone through the 50 and had a shot at the open goal. But the glamour teammate, he just gave it to him. Wanted to give it to him.
Parker. Lloyd goes back to Melcheski. Normally does something with it. Franklin almost didn't stick. Rance playing a wonderful game. Batchelor trying to get it through a wall of players, one of whom was his. Now a little 1-2 across half back, and the ball comes out wide from Martin. Gathered by Ellis. Ellis backs off. Chaplin comes to assist. Drives it towards the wing. Tailor-made for Edwards. Up he goes and takes the mark.
Brilliant mark. He had the drop, of course. Neat kick. Hampson couldn't quite stick it. Hurley on that left foot to fall forward. Richards couldn't mark it. Cochin, 20th disposal before, well, way before half-time. Here's a hanger from Edwards.
That's how backmen get on the front page of the Sport with their getting a hanger taken.
If you go to training, they got the big bags that put on the back of some guy who stands under the footy to practice those kind of jumps. You're low in the coaching ranks, you know, if you get to be the bloke standing under the bag.
Buddy has never done it. There's Rampy out of the back pocket, kicks it up towards the wing. Marriage having a good game, slaps it towards the boundary, and it did go out.
Guys, Kieran Jack has been on the bench for 3 or 4 minutes now. He's got an issue with his right hand. He's in a fair amount of pain. They've taped it up. He will come back on, but he's pretty sore.
7 possessions for Jack. Derricks, Marriage, Bird. Hasn't been in the action too much. Got boot to ball that time. Grimes with those chalk-coloured legs coming through there. Down goes Foley. Brandon Jack got him. Wide of the pack petted. Throws it on the boot. Bounces down towards half forward. Coming up Melcheski. Kept coming too. Took Hooley down. Conker. Quick hands. Martin released to space. Bearing down his Laidler. Bad bounce. Well, Martin put it into the ground. He pounded it down. Didn't come back. Laidler's kick goes towards the outer side wing. Cunningham out of the contest.
D caught up from Goods. She was a good kick for Jetta a moment ago. Really clever. Conker off a step. Next goal huge here. Tigers with Delidio. Foley off that step again. They're in a good spot. Revolt got it. That's a terrific mark. Gee, Duck, you know so well. I mean, he had all the pressure. He was always in the box seat, but he had to be brave, didn't he?
Well, there were a couple of Sydney defenders bearing down, but what Jack did really well there, he just kept his eyes on the footy. Didn't worry about who was coming. The footy was his main focus, and that's a terrific mark. 3-on-1, you don't expect to win those 50-50 balls, and he's won it.
Genuine contested mark, that one.
Yeah, no, terrific. Well, he's a target, isn't he? He's had a couple of shots on goal. He has one to his credit. He'll get his second here, and Richmond will stretch their lead. And he does. So Revolt with 2. He's having a good night. His captain's having a great night.
Wayne Carey described it beautifully. A great contested mark, but this is when he plays his best. When he gets on the move and jumps at the football and doesn't worry about his opponent, it's when he's the most dangerous.
Derricks knocked it down. Pettit, play on the football, didn't gather it. Foley trying to back out of there. Kennedy going with him. Foley, Kennedy. Eventually Foley finishes up lying on the football.
Give him a chance. Straight back.
Wasting no time. Umpire Donlan. Hampson wins it down. Parker. He's been quiet, taken to the ground, rolls back towards Martin, slapped away by Kennedy. Now Hampson, finesse if you don't mind. Got it across to Shane Edwards, over the top Pettit. Decided against Ellis, feeds it forward. Deledio likes Ellis though, goes back to him, 70 metres out, down towards the pocket. Cochin trying to manufacture something, put the boot out, trying to soccer the ball, I think. Collected Richards, who got the football in the end. Shaw, Malcheski left it behind. Edwards does well. Martin, even with his strength, couldn't find a way out. And now Franklin.
On the wrong side for Buddy, so plays the percentages, good kick. Out in front of Lloyd. And just has to be corralled by Conker, but Lloyd did that well. Now Jetta also worked D underneath. He's got some toe, a lot of toe. Jetta rides him down, ball not out.
He's back. On his number. Oh.
D short to Hooley. Going to check up on Kieran Jack in a moment, just his situation. Lovely kick. Batchelor back in the team. Last couple of weeks. Hurley running hard, hardly ever misses. Grimes, Conker also back in tonight after an injury. Miles, terrific opening term to Ellis. They've had so much of the ball, the Tigers.
There's Chaplin. The run comes from Martin. Just lobs it over the wing. Between the lines, Conker, who's been busy. He's up to 13 possessions, Conker. Nice return.
Just look up the field there and see the Richmond forward. Plenty of numbers, but they're all in space. They've contributed, so it's not just the sole focus of Rewald at the moment.
That's a tired kick. Derricks shinned it away. Delidio's through. Delidio one bounce, closing on goal, bounces it through. That makes it difficult for Sydney.
Kicked a couple last week, Delidio, so clever goal. Dr. Rowan White from Triple M. Tell us about Kieran Jack, Rowan.
Yes, Bruce, Kieran Jack's come off and had his left hand strapped at the base of his index finger, heavily strapped. Interestingly, he couldn't do his own shoelace up before he ran out. Still a bit of doubt. He's out there. We're going to keep a close eye on him.
Thanks for that. Cochin's kick forward. So he's out, I think, up to his personal best in the first half ever, Cochin now. Shaw, Grundy, they're under pressure. On the scoreboard and out on the ground. Malcheski's kick. Batchelor, Cunningham. And which way will the umpire read it? It'll be a ball up. So Shaw sucking it in. No Hanbury, no McGlynn. Jack in a bit of trouble. Shaw maybe in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Sydney on the ropes.
No real appetite. That's the problem. D trying to go through, but it's coming back. Foley will get the free. He's been good too, Foley.
The disposal differential pushing 100.
Amazing.
Extraordinary.
Searching kick, Foley. Over the top, Hampson. Off hands. Martin slipped over. Still found it. In trouble. Smith's got him. Drags him down. Over the top, Kennedy. That ball slow to release. Now Edwards goes down just wide of the pack, a step away. Tackled by Richards. Some very untidy football, and that's holding the footy, apparently.
Just held the ball in one half, wasn't locked up. Straight to Ted Richards. Mark's here, right out, please.
Deep in his own defensive area, a beleaguered defence right now. Under real pressure.
Yeah, just on the bottom of the screen there, Reece Shaw really struggling to come off the ground.
Parker, arms were chopped. He'll get a free kick.
Stay there, Jeff. Back here, please. Daggers, stay there.
He's at left half back.
Gee, sure, yeah.
That's amazing.
They lose one small injured, the Swans, and they've got no option of actually going a little bit quicker and smaller through the substitute. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Nice kick, Parker. Goods. Well, everybody took the dummy as it goes down towards half forward. Franklin again. Right there, step for step, getting it on the ground was Rance. Cunningham, bit slick for a teammate. Running into a dead end was Kennedy. Cunningham applies a strong tackle, but the base of that pack is petted, and we'll get a ball up.
Yeah, you were stationary. He just drove his head. That's fine.
Here's the Jack injury with the hand.
Yeah, just trod there. Yep. Conker's right foot.
I just feel like they're... so Cotchin now has more disposals in the first half than he's had in any other match in his career. Chaplin's handball out wide. Foley courageously. Kennedy. Bounced off a couple. Parker, Grimes. I feel like they're there to be beaten, the Sydney Swans tonight. It's just whether Richmond can do the job. I mean, Sydney right now, as we look at Shaw and the injury for him. Is it an ankle or?
It's his ankle, Yeah, that old saying of coming to play, that look that a team is coming out to compete hard, real energy. The Swans just haven't brought it to Melbourne.
Long ball down towards half forward. Cunningham knocked away well by Foley, covering a lot of ground. Gets in the contest again. McVeigh can't keep it in. It'll be tossed in.
It's nothing from a positional point of view at the moment from Sydney that would be worrying John Longmire. It's about effort. It's
well, just the basic ball winning time. 19-10 down in Clearsville, Richmond 19 to Sydney 10. So they're winning the ball and maintaining possession mostly.
Yeah, the umpire. 15, Parker a despairing lunge at it. Now, right on the 50, they battle for it.
Locked up.
There goes Reece Shaw down into the rooms. He's in real trouble with a lower left ankle, as you just showed before, lower leg, and he's going to have it assessed.
Marich just lays it down. Kennedy at his feet is taken down. Got a hand pass away. Trickles out of the pack. Morris. After it goes Martin. He's played a big first half. This is D. Hard against the boundary line. Sends it outside the 50. Off hands. Runs free at the back. Taken by Aaron Edwards. Sweeping hand pass. Now Ellis is away. Against the line. Sends it beyond the wing. Coming up to meet it and taking it nicely was Grundy. No easy take there. Malcheski along the line. Jetta running out of space. Awkward situation. Tried to accelerate away. Couldn't. McVeigh took the hand pass. High ball towards half forward.
GT was courageous there. That took a long time to come down. Bit of the Duncan Kellaways about him there, the way he stood underneath that for such a long period. Martin, what a first half. Ellis just buying some time. Marriage the target, floats to the back. Malcheski, a bounce, poor handball. Smith, they're just not switched on, are they? Smith under pressure. Bird, haven't called his name. Malcheski, Richards, they're a bit fumbly. Richards to fall forward. Goods the target with Franklin. Good mark, buddy. Well done. Within range.
I like Goods forward. I just think he provides another really strong avenue for them. Ideally not getting tangled in the same contest as Franklin, but just gives another option to kick to.
Duck, this is the other side for him, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is a side that we've known that he generally kicks, but he normally, as a left footer, he's right to left. And we saw the last kick that he had, it was a typical left footer, left to right. So it'll be interesting to see which way this one swings.
They need it. They need it big time. Does he keep up with Jack with 2 goals? He does. Geez, kicking well, isn't he? 2 goals for Franklin. All the good work from Rance in the first half.
As you can see, the left foot, and it just drops slightly outside that left boot as he guides it onto the foot. And that's why, with that kicking action, that's why he gets that little bit of left to right.
28 goals for the season then. Just 6 possessions tonight. That's an enthralling duel. Rance doing very well, but the goal's still coming. Miles tries to flick it away. Down goes the big fella Reid. Surrounded. Belated whistle. And the umpire will use that centre circle pad, I'm sure. Umpire Dalgleish, an up-and-comer. Well, actually, he won't because he's tossing it up, of course. One down by Pike. Then goes Miles. Have these flashbacks occasionally. Miles. Now that's interesting. He's doing a lot with the head, not much with anything else, and he pays the price. Cunningham. Time for a late goal, as you can see. 2 minutes to play in the term. Jeddah goes looking for Franklin. Bearing down is Rance. With the left foot, Jack is centering ball. Brandon Jack too long. And Grimes gets back and takes a timely defensive mark.
Big couple of minutes here, Den. I mean, either way, a goal, massive here. Sydney get it, you feel like Richmond have got nothing in terms of what they should have got out of this first half. They have dominated in so many areas. Malcheski's probably within range. Gets to full forward. Well played, Grimes. Reed, Goods, went to ground. Ellis, toe poke came from Jack. Ball flung out the back. Cunningham's got the smarts, I reckon. He's a pretty clever player. Hooks it back, top of the square. D, well, doesn't take the mark. Jack, little give. Reed can't get it away, but the other Jack does. You get one down, and the other one hurts you. Kieran, goal.
He's had some good moments, Matty D, and some that he'd like to have again on that occasion. Just needs to be stronger over the ball and hunts the footy. Kieran Jack, and the Swans right back. Interestingly enough, inside 50s are even. For all the possession domination Richmond
and low,
have had.
Tom, only 19 apiece. Very low.
So, just over a minute to go.
Bit of blood rule here.
So, Chaplin coming off the ground. Interesting situation with Chaplin, who's played more minutes than any other player in the competition. 1, 2 and 3 playing in this game, Grundy and Richards.
He's played 100% of game time, Chaplin.
Amazing.
Hasn't been off the ground.
Well, he is now. But his timing is impeccable. Just docked a minute. Goods to McVeigh. Kicks out wide. Jeddah, he's been busy in the last few minutes, and important, sends it deep to the pocket, off the ball. The Sydney Swan went down, and it's going against Franklin. Well, it's going the other way. Rance has gone back wanting to take the kick. Well, I'm not sure what's going on. Like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates, some of these. There goes the kick out of the back pocket by Rance. We were talking about that before. Body to body. So difficult to call. It just depends on the line of sight, doesn't it? Franklin went flying out of the contest, but obviously the umpire thought he was hanging on. Off hands. Rampy does nicely. Rampy a couple of times. Sends it towards half forward, getting across. Mark is taken out there by Grimes. I mentioned before Franklin discounted a few goals. I forgot the unforgettable 5 that he kicked last week. So he's up to 33 right now, Bruce.
So he's got a couple tonight along with Jack Revolt. And Richmond just doing enough here. Sydney kicked the last 2 goals of the first half, but the Tigers have dominated in so many ways, and they've deserved this lead and maybe some, but they lead by 14 points at half-time on a Friday night. It's 6-4-40 to Sydney, 4-2-26. So a couple of goals to Franklin in that second quarter. Revolt's got a couple as well, and the Tigers lead at the long break by 14 points. So